Hi, I'm Jordan Thomas. This is a breakdown of the City of Quinte West's special council meeting held on Monday, March 14th. The point of the meeting this week was to discuss the 2022 operating budget for the city. The resolution was an average residential tax increase of 1.93%, collection of the 2022 general levied taxes in the amount of $56,590,000, approve the collection of the 2022 area rated taxes in the amount of $2,610,946, and the collection of educational taxes in the amount of $10,750,000. Started off with Councillor Quinte, who expressed that he did not support the budget as he is against, quote unquote, taking out our reserves to turn around and put money back into the reserves, end quote. He asked then Director Clazy, if we pass the budget and determine later in the year that it is not working because we don't have enough money to keep up with the demand, what would the staff have to do if we end up in a deficit? Director Clazy then said we had option one, which is any deficit would be carried forward into the 2023 budget. Option two would be to take the money out of our reserves to balance the budget. And the third option, which he said was unlikely, but he did say the third option would be service cuts further into the year. From there, Councillor Quinte also highlighted that with it being an election year, should it become a lame duck situation, council would not be able to vote on the budget. They're not allowed to vote for anything over $50,000. Let's see here. The city's going to spend $7 million on asphalt approximately. And should there be an additional cost, it'll be taken from the capital reserve fund as it has been done in the past. Mayor Harrison said, quote, if we can't do them, that being a project, properly, then the directors will come back to us and say, we'll have to defer this project until next year, end quote. He also said later on, quote, we either raise taxes to get the money or we use reserves. And if we use reserves, we should be in the position to replenish them, end quote. Councillor Cassidy expressed that he was happy to see a decrease in the average tax. It was originally proposed in the 2.8% increase. And he said of that the 2.8%, the tax increase for residential is going to be for everyone, including seniors and those on a fixed income, and that such a rate would be very difficult for someone on a fixed budget to be able to afford. And he said, quote unquote, in that situation, quote, we're going to give them an extra burden in order that our finances might be a little bit more secure, end quote. So he expressed that he was actually quite pleased that they were able to lower the budget to 1.93%. Yeah, 1.93. All right, Deputy Mayor Aaliyah mentioned that we're removing the security for the Trent and Frankfurt Fantasy City of Lights. Although we've experienced vandalism in the past, they still think that the security cameras are going to be able to do justice this year in preventing that or prosecuting those that may be involved in such a thing. They also expressed that they think it was potentially out of a mixture of boredom and just COVID crazy. That's not their words. Those are mine. Councillor DeWitt mentioned that they've removed $91,200 out of the operating budget, which was meant to cover the security for the fantasy lights, as well as cover maintenance and preventative maintenance for faculties throughout the city, where Director Clazy mentioned that it has been budgeted for the minor maintenance that comes up regularly and the little things that go wrong as happens when you're operating multiple wards. But if there is to be a surprise expenditure that is large, it'll be brought in front of council and council will be able to discuss it and it can be taken from our reserves. The big thing that I found interesting was the payment in lieu of taxes. The city is losing $1 million worth of revenue after adjustment. What that means is you're receiving a payment in lieu of taxes on the portion of the federal property that was occupied by the defaulted tenant. So what that has to do is actually with the base. And the councilors mentioned that they are in discussion with the federal government on seeing if they can rectify that situation and the loss. But the losses were accounted for within the 2022 budget. For that resolution, the only councilor who opposed it was Councillor Quinte. So therefore the budget was carried. After that, they voted on the water and sewer, and it was unanimously carried. So everybody was happy, and it was a brief and short council meeting. Anyway, thanks for watching.